Hmm. 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 Oh, did you? Hmm. I don't see any chat. Did you? One. I need to. I don't see any chat. Did you? One. I need to. No. I don't see any chat. Did you? One. I need to. No. I don't see any chat. What? What do you mean? Did you? One. I need to. No. I don't see any chat. What? Oh. What do you mean? Did you? One. I need to. No. I don't see any chat. What? Oh. What do you mean? Okay, now the sound should be better. I have software for this. Steam. Oh, yeah, my mouse is pretty loud. Yeah, that's my mouse. Fido is down there, lying near me. He is lying down near me. Tales of Berseria is receiving a remaster. That is so weird. That is so weird. It's the weirdest thing ever. Why would they... Oh my god. Why would you remaster that game? Of all games to remaster. Why remaster Tales of Berseria? Tales of Berseria is receiving a remaster. The game that is current generation and already in HD. Ridiculous. I wonder if... Have I wrote on the Discord that I'm live? Have I wrote on our Discord that I'm live? Sad. Oh, you don't like Japanese RPGs, so you would not be familiar. Oh, it's already... Is it already? Yeah, it's already. Yeah. Okay. Now I have to add it to... Your favorite game. I'm gonna play a bit of your favorite game. I wonder if the cloud... I wonder if it's saved on the cloud. What? No, it cannot be. What? No, this cannot be. This is a nightmare. This cannot be. I mean, oh no. No, 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 no. Does this not have cloud? No. No way. No, I refuse to believe this. What the fuck? Hold on. What? Okay, we're not playing this game, I guess. Hello, Incub. Guess we're not playing this game because the cloud did not synchronize my saves for the desktop. How are you? How are you, Incub? I'm thinking of various strategies of engagement. So can you play? We'll try to beat that one fight 1 or 2 times and then we'll play VoVoVo, I guess. Horrified? Wait, why are you horrified? What happened? First of all. Second of all, wait, why are you horrified? Also, what was I about to say? I wanted to say something, but... I'm sad that my videos get 0 views. Oh yeah, I saw. There was a person killed and I saw. That's actually one of my topics for today. The whole ICE thing. Oh yeah, there was a person found dead at an ICE facility, tied up. Yeah. Hands and legs tied up. Yeah, I've seen. That's one of the topics for today. One of the topics. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I've seen it. wonder. Roles shaped by our experiences. Started reading the magazine that published my article, and they have a lot of interesting insights. The authors of the articles, other than mine, have interesting insights. From what I'm seeing, they have pretty progressive views, or at least they publish pretty progressive authors, which I assume would make the magazine itself pretty progressive. Also, I've noticed something interesting, and that made me really think about restructuring my strategies, but I might have to I have a lot to think about. A bondage artist. That was a horrible joke, wasn't it? But it's very on brand for me.
Not impressed. Just try it. Not impressed.
Nice. I saw there was a reported asking Trump that there's been some woman that was pregnant and that was assaulted by ICE, and the lady asked Trump, "Do you think ICE is overdoing it with some of their stuff?" And Trump said, "No, I think they're not going far enough." And I was like, okay. Yeah, that story is on my radar. It is planned for today's politics, definitely. I feel like the game's not working very well right now. I have a... There's just a hunch. I have this hunch that tells me when a game is not working very fluently. And that radar is active right now. Great metaphor.
Time to hit big.
Did you see that?
I won't waste this.
Please don't. Don't waste it, please.
Time to strike. Watch out, my L.
My L? My L? Don't waste this, my L.
Bring it on.
We're done. Almost.
Take cover. Okay.
Okay, I am parrying it. I am parrying it. In fact.
Lune, watch out.
Lune, careful.
Okay. Ready to parry. Blades sharpened.
Oh my gosh, did you see that? Soundless. Revenge. This is wrong, but you know who I hate is? What I hate is when I'm trying to read something on Twitter, on Reddit or whatever, and just links me to an app store and essentially blocks information unless you give out your own. Oh yeah. Hello? Wait. Do I know you? Hello? Do I know? Do I don't remember your name. What brings you here? I feel like I'm rude. I feel like a mean person now. Hello. But thank you for being here and for helping me be a small streamer rather than a micro one. Oh, where is your name at? Wow. Crazy.
Brace yourselves.
What the fuck? What the fuck was that? Oh yeah, it's oh. That actually pissed me off. That actually pissed me off a lot. Okay, let's try again. I am pretty angry though. I feel like I get angry too easily. But I feel like I'm justified. How is everyone doing? Yeah, I feel like I'm very justified.
Not impressed.
I'm ready.
Incoming. Just try it.
Parry it! Okay.
Like patience.
Let's dance.
I can be pretty impatient, yeah. I like to rush things.
Not impressed.
Like for example, I pressed the button too early now because I was impatient.
I'm ready. I'll do it.
But
Brace yourselves.
feels sometimes like there's just too many things.
Blades sharp.
And instead of tackling them one by one, I just don't do any of them.
Disappear.
Let the ink flow. A brilliant light.
I won't disappoint.
Elements converge.
Yeah, once I have my heart set on something, I will just pursue it. I'll die pursuing it.
Survive.
Incoming.
Careful, Mael.
I'll do it.
That's called ADHD. I mean, my psychiatrist told me that
I'll do it. Brace yourself.
that I do show certain signs of possibly having ADHD, so said that
Let's carve a path.
the fact that I keep switching from topic to topic
Danger.
very that I just jump from topic to topic erratically, and that is very ADHD apparently. What the? Oh man. Close to autism? Oh, I know that. I know that the doctor said that I don't have it, but What do you mean close to autism? Explain yourself to me. Okay, I died again. Hey.
I'll do it.
Let's dance.
Take cover. I'll do it.
Yeah, and what symptoms do you see in me that are emblematic of those things?
Brace yourselves.
Oop.
Ready to parry. On me.
I'm just very... Oh my god. Yeah, I'm not... I don't find it difficult to notice social cues, even if sometimes I just straight up ignore them, but... But there's a difference between ignoring them and not noticing them, you know?
Careful now.
Like sometimes people give me social cues, and from certain people, I don't like playing games. I like people to just tell me, you know? So I'll ignore the social cues.
Parry it. Let's dance. Let's dance. Ready to parry. The dance begins.
Yeah, I am very aware of certain cues.
I'm not giving up.
Indeed.
No. Disappear.
Now's our chance. A brilliant.
What's for dinner? Well, I'm happy that there are some people here. Wouldn't it be nice to... Oh well.
Careful now.
Dodge.
Bring it on.
On me.
Get ready.
I'm ready.
Just try it.
I'm ready.
Let's carve a path.
Hello, Emily, yes.
Let's go again. Break.
Please survive.
nameless crusader.
Chance.
Last chance.
Not giving up.
What the hell?
Ready to carry.
I wanted to use the skill actually here. Oh my god. Well, I messed up, I guess. This enemy should have been dead now. I'm pissed at myself.
This ends now.
Luna, careful. Get ready.
I have a really ridiculous story that I want to cover.
On me.
Careful, Verso.
Oh yeah, how did you like the coverage of the children thing? I was actually pretty happy with that segment because I feel like I added a lot of from my experiences working on the topic in Ukraine.
I'm ready. I'll do it.
You know?
Danger.
Not giving up. This will hurt. This will hurt.
Ready to evade.
I see. Nobody's interested in my question.
Now
Very sad.
I'm ready.
Am I muted?
Please survive.
Ready to evade. I'm ready.
Does he speak autism? No, I'm not.
Guard up.
Careful, my elbow.
Lune, watch out. This will hurt. Lost chance. Not giving up.
Yeah, but I don't know. Feel like I can recognize social cues. I try to work on that. Oh, Fake Calico Parker. How's the editing going for these segments? I don't know, I just said that I was very happy with the segment when I talked about children. You know, when I reacted to the interview of the special envoy for the Ukrainian children situation. And that I felt like I've added a lot of stuff from my own experience and nobody reacted in any way. Everyone just ignored me. Especially YouTube chat. YouTube chat is just in its own world. See, they're just ignoring me. I don't know. What do I do?
I'll do it. I'm ready.
Lune, watch out!
Take cover.
You know what? Maybe it's time I accept it.
Let's dance.
I literally just responded to you.
Okay. On me. Not looking good.
Let's finish this. Cut him down.
No, I'm not. I'm not ignoring you. What do you mean? I can't afford food. Okay? I better make the groceries last this week. Oh.
Take cover.
Lune, watch out! Ready to carry.
I don't ignore chat.
I'll do it.
Let's dance.
I asked all of you on your opinion and all of you ignored me. What do you mean? Wow. I'm being gaslit.
Let the ink flow.
Gaslightning.
I'm ready.
Let me see how many people are watching YouTube right now.
Time to hit big.
Somehow chat doesn't care about Ukrainian kidnapped children. I know! I know! Somehow this is my main focus of my work. You're watching the streamer that specializes in working on this topic and you're just, whatever, I don't care. You also you don't care about victims of the Holocaust, I guess. 12 views. I'm so depressed by this, okay? I'm actually depressed by this. Holocaust thing, 12 views. Xander Hall Slop, 647 views. I cannot believe this. Eight. Which is a far cry from 33. I mean, people do seem to be treating Xander Hall more seriously. Okay? That's the thing that people watch when I put it out.
Cut him down. Might hurt.
Somehow. Hey, I feel like I'm in Lonerbox chat being told I don't care about the Holocaust.
Brace yourself.
Does Lonerbox say that? Lonerbox thinks that the Holocaust started in 43 or something, so I don't know. I had a whole debate with Lonerbox about the Holocaust, if you didn't know.
I'm ready.
I bet you didn't know that I had a debate with Lonerbox about the Holocaust. I bet you did not know. I don't have real fans.
Not giving up. Ready to parry.
Take cover.
On me. There's no dodge.
A storm is coming. Elements converge.
Wait, did you see my debate with Lonerbox? Actually?
Meet your reckoning.
Let's have some fun.
Did you see both of my debates with Lonerbox?
Careful, my elbow.
Coming. Careful now.
On me.
Take cover. Danger.
I don't know, I think how is chat behave?
I'm okay.
Yes. I should try to get some money for my trip to Ukraine.
This will hurt.
Also, I'm working on the accreditation thing. I've sent all my documents to my magazine, and I might as well give you some feedbacks. Yeah, well, you know what? I'm gonna give you some harsh truths, okay? You ready for some harsh truths? You say that those people are awful, but still, they have huge audiences. I'm supposedly not awful. Maybe one day all of my awful things will come out, but until they do, I'm still not awful officially. And how many people are watching? 8. Not awful people are boring. Nobody likes watching not awful people. Lucy, is your chest still hurting? Yes. Yes, it is. Which, technically speaking, I should go to the doctor for that as well, but I cannot afford. Because my money is already tied up in my other doctor visit to get my hormones. For which I will have to go and get my blood tested, which will also cost money. You're awful at video games though? Yeah, all streamers are awful at video games. That's what makes them popular. Being awful at video game is like a medal of honor for streamers. Nobody watches people that are good at video games. It's boring. Success is boring. People want to be able to, how do I say? People want to relate to failures. Somehow Vosh grew after the incident, but no one ever talks about him. Yeah, I know. That's because people are interested in people that are not great, but people that don't have controversies are boring. Case in point, okay? You cannot deny it. Are you gonna try to deny it?
Luna, careful.
Don't even try to deny it.
Last chance. Blades shut.
Yes! I've beaten this fight! So casually as well. Finally! Oh my god, that took so long. Oh. If the game crashed, I'm gonna fucking kill myself. What? No, please don't tell me that the game crashed. Thank you for the $15. And then Lucy claim I don't care about children of Ukraine. You didn't give your opinion on the segment. I'm just gonna start the game and assume that the game auto-saved my victory. That I just did. After a billion tries. Also thank you very much for the $15. Now you can give your opinion, okay? Now you can give your opinion on the segment from me last night. I'm almost out of medication. Oh yeah, I also will have to buy the hormones. I will have to spend $200 to be able to get my hormones, and then I'll have to buy them. My god, this is just horrible. The one about children. The one about Ukrainian children. I watched an interview. I guess you're gonna have to watch it when it becomes a segment, when fake Kyle Parker edits it today. I actually felt like I didn't do a whole lot of segments. I sure hope that one will get some views, because if my main line of work does not get any traction with any audience, then that will just be sad. Okay, fingers crossed.
Get ready. Bring it on.
On me. Yeah.
Am I allowed to be annoyed by what happened?
On guard. On me.
No, by the fact that I defeated it and then the game crashed. So me defeating the fight was erased from existence. Have what? Be fat? Just call me fat. You call me a fatty? Is that what you called me? Don't be sad, Lucy, you're a fatty. Wow, wow, whoa, 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 whoa. Don't call me a fatty. The hell? I don't deserve that. Okay, one last try, I guess.
Danger.
I'm so sick of this fight. That I've already beaten.
Ready to parry.
Incoming.
I'm upset. Makes you wanna rage quit.
Okay.
I'm spaghetti, upsetty spaghetti.
Careful, my elf.
Watch out, my elf.
I could've
Oh well.
sworn I did the right timing.
Ready to evade.
Okay, one last time and then I don't know. I'm upset.
Brace yourself.
Rune, watch out.
Take cover.
So dodge.
Oh, okay, and then the game turned into slow motion shit fast and I couldn't parry for... Yeah. Yeah, it's on PC. What do you mean? You listen to me? Maybe I should do a political segment.
Get ready.
If I'm gonna be listened to, then maybe I should do a political... My kind of editor has contacted me as well. Yeah, I do have a capture card. I use it with the PS5 that my friend lent me. My best friend. Who I've known for a billion years. Okay, one last try and then we'll do political segment.
Ready to evade.
Careful now. Watch out, my L.
On me. Ready to pounce.
Watch out.
Lune, watch out.
Danger.
Time to hit big. Blades sharp.
Today I will play Woo 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 Woo. There's a suite called Woo 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 Woo. I bet Woo 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 will disappoint me as well. I bet Woo 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 will. Yeah. I'll show it on the browser when we do politics.
A storm is coming. A storm is coming.
I feel like I'm using Lune in a bad way. Like my Lune has very low damage. She's more of a detriment than anything in my team. And she's super overpowered, so I'm using her in some very wrong way.
Bring it on.
I feel like.
Watch out.
I'll do it.
Let's dance.
Oh well.
I can do it. Last chance. I'm okay.
Ooh.
On me. Okay.
I won't waste this. Brace yourselves.
Careful now.
Danger.
I'm not impressed.
Not. Ready to parry. On me. On me.
Watch out, my L. Get ready.
Okay.
Ah, okay. Political gamer segment. Okay, let's try to defeat the enemy, okay? Last chance. Wait, why is this stream so quiet all of a sudden?
Giving up.
Why are you...
This will hurt.
Now's our chance. Elements converge.
Dance, dance.
Cut him down. Break. Let's carve a path. Witness your end.
Okay.
Danger.
Please, fly.
Just try it.
On me. Okay.
Take cover.
Fuck me.
This will hurt. Last chance. Not looking good. This will hurt.
Alright, we have a chance again.
Brilliant light.
We stand a chance now.
Chroma is flowing.
This is our chance.
Okay. Okay. I'm okay. This will hurt.
Time to end this.
Alright, let's do this, okay? Let's do this! Oh my god, let's do this! Oh no, oh fuck me, no.
Careful, Verso. I'll do it.
I quit. All right. Yeah, and yet so far. So close and yet so far. Oh. A Polish ambassador was attacked in Russia. Well, Russia is such a nice place. By the way, I was wrong yesterday. I was wrong. I misreported. To be fair, the details were not known yesterday, but do you remember when I said that the surrender plan, peace plan would require Ukrainian army to be cut in half? To be reduced by half? I was wrong. I was wrong. It actually is to be reduced by 60%. It actually is to be reduced to 40%. So yeah, I was wrong. It's not just 50. It's 60% reduction of the Ukrainian military. Oh, Bushu, Bushu, Bushu. Co? Przeze mnie było rozwścieczone. Netherlands start deployment of 300 troops and Patriot systems to Poland. Why to Poland? Why not Ukraine? Why whatever. I'm so pissed at everything. I'm angry at everything right now. I'm just very bitter. Okay, I'm a bitter person right now. Nobody can unbitter me now. Well, hold on. Let's see how many people are watching actually this stream. Let's see how pissed I should be at everyone, including you. Also, I was supposed to show you that sweet woo woo woo. Also, you haven't even told me that the browser is not on screen. That's how much you care about this stream. That the browser is off and you're just, whatever. Who cares? Who cares what's on screen and what's not, right? My goodness. Nobody cares. Me too, Lucy. You two don't care? You two don't care? Wow. I cannot believe what you just said, Dr. Jones. I thought at least you cared. But you're just like, yeah, me too. I don't care either. I'm like, what? Even you? Oh, God. Wait, what? Holy shit. We have to read this. This is crazy, actually. Insane. This is gonna be our first segment of today. It's over. Dr. Jones doesn't care. It's over. Everything's over. I thought Dr. Jones cared. South African ex-president's daughter accused of duping men to fight for Russia. This is her. Insanity. The daughter of South Africa's former president, Jacob Zuma, has been accused of luring African men into fighting for Russia and Ukraine. I wonder what method did she deploy? Like, how did she... I don't know, this makes it sound like she... like, seduced them and then said, if you love me, you will fight for Russia, for the Russian Federation. Duduzile Zuma Sambudla, who is a member of the South African Parliament, is at the center of a growing scandal over the recruitment of men to fight in Ukraine. South African authorities have launched an investigation into growing reports of young people being sent to fight for Russia under false pretenses. That is so crazy that the daughter of the ex-president was just... I don't know, how should I even put it? Human trafficking people to fight for Russia. Just insane. Reality is always far more insane than fiction. The Bloomberg News Agency reported on Wednesday that around 20 men from South Africa and Botswana claimed to have been approached by Zuma Sambudla with promises of bodyguard training in Russia. I mean, kind of. This is a sort of a bodyguard training. What better bodyguard training will you receive than going to the trenches? They say that after arriving in Russia in July, they signed contracts in Russian that they believed were related to their training course, but found themselves instead on the front line in Ukraine. Wait, hold on. This is starting to be a pattern. That people go to Russia, sign a contract they cannot even read, and then go to the front line. Come on, okay, I want to have sympathy. I swear to God, I want to have sympathy. But I would never in my life sign a contract that I could not even read. If someone just gave me a contract in a completely foreign language that I could not understand a word in, I would never ever sign that in my life. It just makes this, I don't know, just on the one hand, there probably are people that are duped, genuinely duped into fighting for Russia. But once people like this are trapped by the Ukrainian forces, anybody can just say, oh yeah, I was tricked. I couldn't read the contract. Please let me go. Right? You understand what I'm saying? Anybody could just say, yeah, I was deceived, and you see, this is why you should not detain me, because, you know, I'm totally innocent. Anybody can say that. Bloomberg cited photographs and WhatsApp conversations it had seen as confirming the men were assured they would not be sent into combat, but nonetheless found themselves in war zones. Insane. Oh gosh. Promises of help. South Africa to investigate how its citizens were lured into fighting in Ukraine. Well, apparently it's your ex-president's daughter. Apparently it's your ex-president's daughter. Yet you click I agree without reading the terms of services. It's a contract. Yeah, but I can read it. If I want to, I can read it. There's a difference between not reading something that you can read and just signing in blanco something that is in a completely foreign language. I have the ability to read the contracts that I signed. The news agency quoted one exchange in which a recruit wrote, "As we speak now, we are packing and preparing to move to the war zone." The fact that they did not prepare a copy in a language that they could understand is a complete red flag. It should be a red flag for anybody. If they don't prepare a contract for you in your language, you should not sign anything. Okay? It should be like, oh, okay, I'll sign it once you provide a version for me in my language that I can actually read. Thank you. Before that, I'm not signing anything. Send me home. That should be the reaction. It should be the default reaction forever and ever. Wait. As we speak now, we are packing and preparing to move to the war zone. To which Zuma Sambudla allegedly responded, "It's not the front line. They're just scaring you. You may just patrol or be put on cooking duties or gun cleaning." Come on! That woman is horrible. It's not the front line. Come on, they're just scaring you. She then told the recruit she would personally intervene to get them out if necessary. Bloomberg wrote, adding that the man's family say they have had no contact with them since August. I wonder how much she's being paid by Russia for this recruitment. This is some of the grossest things in a while. She then told the recruit she would personally intervene. Duduzile Zuma Sambudla has not commented on the allegations against her. I wonder why she refused to talk to the press. But South African media have reported that her father has written to the Russian defense minister appealing for 18 of his countrymen to be released from service in combat zones. Yeah, I know that my daughter lied to a bunch of men and made them fight for you, but could you please release them? Could you please release those? Actually, there are quite a few of them that were caught by Ukrainian forces and are detained in POW facilities, POW prisons, where they are treated fairly well because Ukraine is not Russia. Growing trend. South African law forbids the country's citizens from serving as foreign mercenaries, but reports of local men being recruited to swell Russia's ranks have spiked over the last year, Business Insider Africa has reported. The news service wrote that young men from other African countries, including Kenya, Botswana, Burkina Faso, and Nigeria, have also found themselves fighting for Moscow's forces in Ukraine. Business Insider Africa added that prior to the latest accusations against Zuma Sambudla, South African authorities had received at least 17 distress calls from nationals stranded in Ukraine. The current president, Cyril Ramaphosa, has ordered an investigation into their recruitment, his office said. Which, yeah, it was the ex-president's daughter. That is a wild story, but unfortunately, people did this. This is such exploitation of vulnerable people. It's very Russian. It's a very Russian thing to do. To exploit those in need that need money to sometimes send to their family because their family is barely scraping by. So yeah. Yeah. Unfortunate. Poland does not need patriots. Do you know who needs patriots? Ukraine. This man has been assaulted in Russia. Watch.
The Foreign Ministry in Warsaw has confirmed that Poland's ambassador to Russia was assaulted in St. Petersburg on Sunday, with attackers being apprehended by security. The attack, which took place during an official meeting with the local Polish minority, takes place during a period of increased tensions between Warsaw and Moscow, in the wake of a railway sabotage incident last weekend. The information about the attack was released on Thursday, however, the incident occurred on Sunday. This was confirmed by the spokesperson for the Polish Foreign Ministry. Poland's ambassador to Russia, Krzysztof Krajewski, traveled to St. Petersburg to meet with the local Polish minority to celebrate Poland's Independence Day. During a walk to a mass, the diplomat was surrounded by a group holding anti-Polish and anti-Ukrainian banners. A few people then proceeded to try and attack the ambassador. However, they were
Russia is a state of mind. Have I mentioned that Russia is a state of mind?
stopped by the Polish State Protection Service.
Brilliant. But then again, the relations between Poland and Russia are not exactly swimming, so balloons. I want to read this article because the whole justification for the war in Ukraine is supposedly to rescue, defend, protect the Russian speakers in Ukraine. Remember that Putin attacked Ukraine in order to defend the Russian speakers in Ukraine, defend the helpless minorities who are being persecuted in Ukraine. Remember the newest draft peace plan, where one of the demands is for Ukraine to recognize Russian as an equal language to Ukrainian. Remember that? Well, I guess Russia is not really living by its principles, is it? Russia is accelerating a linguistic overhaul that critics say endangers dozens of minority languages and deepens ethnic tensions. Wait, hold on. But I thought Russia was a champion of minorities. That's why the war is happening, to defend a minority, to defend the Russian minority in Ukraine. Right? I thought Putin was the ultimate protector of minority languages, as evident of the special military operation. Under a new state policy signed by President Vladimir Putin, Russian is declared the unifying factor of civic identity. While native languages are pushed out of schools, only 1% of pupils now learn in their mother tongue. UNESCO lists 131 languages in Russia are endangered. 131. That's a lot of languages to be endangered, isn't it? And again, the whole justification for the war that Russia is trying to push is on this idea that the whole war hinges on this idea that Russia is protecting minorities, the Russian speakers. Activists warn that the crackdown may backfire, creating educated minorities fluent in Russian but determined to resist discrimination. Good. Analysts say the policy risks eroding cultural diversity and destabilizing regions already strained by wartime conscription and economic inequality. Watch the full episode. Yeah, the difference between Ukraine and Russia is that, for example, Hungarian speakers can speak Hungarian, and Ukraine is not cracking down on Hungarian, or Russian for that matter. And in the meantime, Russia, that is defending Russian speakers in Ukraine, is not so quietly erasing all the minority languages in Russia.
Ladies and gentlemen,
What do we call it a cultural genocide at this point?
ladies and gentlemen,
Isn't it a cultural genocide?
ladies and gentlemen, this is TVP World. I'm your host Benjamin Lee, and welcome aboard the Eastern Express. In today's Russia, nearly 1 in 5 citizens is not ethnically Russian. Yet, in Putin's school system, only 1% of pupils are allowed to study in their own language. The rest, they're learning Russian or learning nothing at all. Minority languages are vanishing, teachers are retiring and never being replaced, and whole nations are being reduced to a colorful folk dance shown once a year on TV. Welcome to the folklorization of the Russian Empire, where diversity is celebrated only as long as it doesn't speak for itself.
Yeah, that's great. That is amazing. Russia really is a great country, isn't it?
Vladimir Putin is trying
I so wish that Poland could join the Russian world.
to build one Russia by silencing all others. Language is also identity, agency, memory, and sometimes resistance. And here, a state decides which language lives and which one dies. So, without further ado, let's take a look at our latest report to find out more.
Russia is a multi-ethnic state, according to the United Nations.
Oh, good one.
It has the world's third largest immigrant population at over 11 million. Despite this, the Russian government seems hell-bent on erasing this cultural and ethnic diversity. Earlier this year, a law was introduced in Russia which required the children of non-Russian citizens to pass a very difficult Russian language exam before they were allowed to enroll in school. Public opinion in Russia itself is divided. Supporters claim that it will help the children integrate better, while critics say it blocks their right to education. As of June 2025, only 7% of foreign citizen children had passed the exam.
Amazing. Russia is just such an amazing place. Russia really has the moral mandate to tell other countries how they should treat their minorities and the languages of the minorities, huh?
This language pressure is also coupled with different Russian policy intertwined with military propaganda. Russia has been
Oh, Russian military propaganda? I've never heard of such a thing. Russia trying to put as many people in the military to ideally fight against Ukraine? I've never heard of such a thing.
making a push to promote army worship
Fake news.
in its schools, showing just what sort of integration the Kremlin is really after. Migrants living in Russia are only one side to this tale, however. Russia's indigenous population is also suffering from a lack of support and recognition. While recently the Kremlin introduced 2 holidays meant to celebrate both the languages and cultures of Russia's indigenous peoples, activists
What a joke.
have raised the alarm that this decision hides a
Russia looks... Oh my god, that just... Look at this building. It looks so raw. It looks so... A picture is worth 1,000 words. I swear to God. A picture is worth 1,000 words. And... This is just horrible. Look at this building. I implore you, look at this building. It looks so depressing.
far more nefarious aim. For years, the Russian government has been carrying out a Russification campaign of its indigenous populations.
Wow, Russia Russifying its population? No, I have never heard of such a thing. I have never heard of such a thing happening.
Which has been focused on promoting both Russian culture and language at the expense of their own traditions.
And now let's zone in on the East-plaining portion of our show. The process of Russification is one that Russia has been employing since its imperial era.
No, you're pulling my leg. No way. Has it? Has it really?
It is no different in the case of Vladimir Putin's Russia, which has been methodically attempting to stifle Ukrainian culture in occupied territories.
No, that does not happen. Of course it happens. I've interviewed a lot of people from the occupied territories. Yes, it happens. Actually, parents hide their children so that they don't go to Russian schools, that they don't end up in Russian education system. So that creates a huge education gap for the kids. Sometimes the parents that hide their children try to educate them as much as they can on their own, but it is oftentimes just not physically not possible for the parents to teach their kids all the necessary subjects that a proper teacher would. They sometimes don't even have access to the materials. Would you support part of Russia to break away and form their own state? Absolutely. Of course. Chechnya should be its own country. For example, it was crushed because the current leader of Chechnya used to fight for Chechnya in the Chechen War and then backstabbed his own country and became Russia's lapdog. Like, I feel very sorry for Chechnya and many other places.
School in the past.
I'm Polish. You're not gonna, should countries that deserve freedom, should people that deserve freedom be able to be free from Russia? I'm Polish. Did you expect any other answer from me?
Of Ukraine that Russia has occupied since the start of the war, like Mariupol, is anything but a place where children learn and are allowed to develop themselves. It has become a tool of Russian propaganda and the heart of Moscow's Russification process of occupied territories. Moscow aims to make these lands...
I don't know, people are scared of Balkanization. Yeah, because people just are stupid, okay?
even more Russian than the Russian Federation itself, a plan that was heavily utilized by the Soviet Union and Imperial Russia before it.
Teachers have been forced to teach a Russian curriculum. They've been forced to use and apply Russian textbooks that teach a Russian view of history.
In other words, a fabricated view of history.
Teachers are forced to teach in Russian, so children are now studying in Russian for the most part.
Russia is looking to take all of this even further, however.
Oh, more militarization. Why? I'm so shocked. I'm so surprised.
The Russian Education Ministry is poised to remove the study of the Ukrainian language from the curriculum in primary and secondary schools in occupied territories. Such decisions have already been made in the past in the parts of Ukraine that Russia has controlled for longer, like Crimea or parts of the Luhansk and Donetsk regions.
And now, let's take a look at the issue in greater detail.
Okay.
In Vladimir Putin's Russia, the school curriculum is increasingly becoming a political manifesto, and one written in only one language. Today, just 1% of pupils in the Russian Federation study in a non-Russian language school.
Yeah, I'm sorry to say that that just sounds like typical Russia. Like, none of this surprises me. None of this is a shock to me. None of this, like, all the countries, all the peoples that have ever been occupied by Russia, that have ever been part of the Russian Empire. This is normal for Russia. Erasure, Russification, genocide, that's just par for the course for Russia. Russia does what Russia does.
That number is...
Belarusian is being erased. Belarus is supposedly a separate country from Russia, and yet Belarusian is being actively erased from Belarus as a language and replaced by Russian. Lukashenko, another lapdog of Russia, said that the leader of Belarus, said that nothing intelligent can be described in Belarusian, that it's a poor language. There's a policy of replacing all official signs to that in Russian. Less and less people speak Belarusian in Belarus. It's just... Yeah, same for Kazakhstan. It's just such a privilege to be part of the Russian world.
Half of what it was 9 years ago, and a fraction of the number of citizens whose native language is not Russian. Officially, there are over 190 ethnic groups in Russia. In the classroom, though, there's only room for one. And
is it Russian?
This isn't an accident of demographics, but rather a deliberate policy. For years, Moscow has eroded the rights of republics to require instruction in their titular languages. Parents were told they had...
Oh yeah, I forgot. I almost forgot. Russia is technically speaking a federation. A federation.
Freedom of choice, but the university entrance exams were only available in Russian. Without Russian, your child had no future. So that's a bit of a linguistic ultimatum. Study in Russian.
Wow, that reminds me of something. Oh yeah, it reminds me of when Poland was part of the Russian Empire. It was exactly the same. You only had a future if you went to school where everything was taught in Russian. What a surprise. History repeats itself. It's like poetry, it rhymes.
Russian or don't study at all. The results have been devastating. More than 36 nations inside Russia have seen nearly all native language instruction eliminated. Teachers who once passed down centuries of cultural heritage are retiring with no replacements. The Kremlin could have invested in modern bilingual education.
Ha 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 ha, good one. Russia investing in bilingual education, good one. Actually, I have a lot of criticism for not just Russia when it comes to bilingual education not being introduced. But it's nowhere as horrible as in Russia. Because Russia is actually actively erasing these languages. But I know that I oftentimes complain that, for example, in the US, there are places where there should be bilingual education.
But instead it opted for a simpler strategy: extinction by administrative neglect. Yet Moscow claimed that it is respecting minority cultures by introducing national holidays, traditional dance festivals, and heritage days. It's a process Russian commentators are calling...
Yeah, it's calling putting on a mask. Okay, we have these parading these exotic elements of our country. But that's all. That's all that is allowed.
Folklorization. Does it sound respectful?
No.
Well, that depends. In Putin's version of multiculturalism, minority peoples are welcome so long as they stay safely in the museum cabinet. They can dance, they can sing, they can wear colorful costumes, but they should not speak their own language.
But only for a few days per year, okay? Wear your colorful costumes on designated days.
Language, govern in their own language, or teach in their own language. Nationhood is being demoted to just a decoration. Non-Russian parents are increasingly demanding the right to educate their children in their own language, even if only
demanding anything in Russia. Imagine demanding anything in Mother Russia. What a silly concept.
A few hours per week. Meanwhile, Moscow continues cutting back instruction hours and pushing these classes into the earliest grades, where they have the least long-term impact. It's a symbolic concession and a strategic neutering. And yet, Putin shows no signs of slowing down. Even during
Why would he? It's working. That's his. Why would Putin slow down in just doing what he wants to do? It would make no sense for him to slow down, actually. It'd be counterproductive for him.
In Ukraine, he continues insisting that Russian culture must dominate. But the war itself has generated new tensions, where non-Russians have died disproportionately on the front lines.
Yeah, it means that they also face extinction, literal extinction, physical extinction because of this war.
Political and linguistic rights are eroded at home. And while Putin may believe that Russianization equals national strength, he may discover something else. That unity by force produces the opposite of loyalty. It produces resentment and often
resistance. Hopefully people will start resisting on those bases.
Revenge. The Kremlin thinks it is closing the chapter on minority nations. It may instead be writing their next chapter in a language it didn't intend. And now, here to shed more light on the issue is Paul Goebel, Distinguished Senior Fellow from Jamestown Foundation. Hello, sir, and welcome to Eastern Express.
Thank you for having me.
Now, traditionally, when we think of education system in various countries, the language aspect is one of those things that we point to on how impressive this country is, multilingual, being able to speak all these different languages. But
in Russia, there are better examples of multilingual countries.
In Russia, it seems to work the other way, where they prefer their citizens, or at least they're tolerant to speak just purely Russian. My question is, what do you think is behind this?
I mean, not to be an asshole, but America becomes like that organically. In America, a lot of people just organically speak only one language. But no, whatever. I'm gonna stop poking. I'm gonna stop being a jerk.
Decision, what are some of the long-term impact that this might lead to?
Well, many countries try to promote linguistic homogeneity. There's a fear that if people speak different languages, they will maintain...
There's a difference, by the way, between promoting linguistic homogeneity and actively erasing minority languages. That is still not the same.
In different cultures, and therefore become more likely to commit themselves to separatist agendas. It's not just Russia, but in Russia, we see a shift back from the Soviet or neo-Soviet period where non-Russian languages were encouraged up to a point.
Up to a point. That is with the exactly up to a point. And yet they were still treated as lesser, as an embarrassment. That is how that worked with Ukrainian.
Now, in the last decade, we've seen Mr. Putin work very, very hard to Russianize the entire population.
Not just the last decade.
Banned, making it a requirement in the non-Russian republics that all students study at least some, for some time, the non-Russian language of that titular people. He has ensured that anyone who wants to go to university has to take tests in Russian rather than any other language, making study of Russian far more attractive to parents and children than would otherwise be the case. Part of this reflects Putin's view that language is what defines nationality.
Yeah. Which was not always the case, by the way. Language has not always been linked to nationality historically, but that's neither here nor there. That link has been established later in history.
I think he goes too far in that direction because I think...
And it still isn't completely linked to nationality because you have many countries that share the same language. English. Is it the language of the American nationality, English nationality, or any of the other countries in which English is the first language? German. Is it the language of the nationality of the Germans or the Austrians, of the Swiss? Which that's just like, even now, when we live in the era of nation states, that link is not exactly 100% established.
Many people who don't speak a language associated with their people, but who become more nationalist. As I've often said, the British Empire was brought low, not by Hindi-speaking peasants in Benares, but by an English-trained lawyer named Gandhi. And the Irish didn't become nationalists until they stopped speaking Gaelic. But Mr. Putin clearly thinks that if he can get everyone to speak Russian, he won't face the same kind of separatist challenges that brought the Soviet Union apart 30 years ago.
Right. And continuing on that line of thinking, if a language is supposed to be tied to nationality, do you think that the attempt at erasing the Ukrainian language from occupied regions of Ukraine is essentially an attempt at a cultural erasure?
What do you mean, essentially? It just is. Yeah, of course. But that is... why would you even ask that?
Well, I think it's a kind of genocide.
Exactly.
Genocide includes the destruction of a community, not just killing them off, but destroying the community by destroying its values, destroying its practices. There's no question that in Ukraine, in the case of Ukraine, Putin is trying to destroy the Ukrainian nation and absorb what's left into the Russian one. I don't think that's going to work. I think it's going to breed a reaction because there will be then more diversity within the Russian nation itself. And we can see that many of the challenges that Moscow now faces come not from non-Russian speaking ethnic minorities, but from regions that are dominated by ethnic Russians in one sense, but by people who identify as Siberians, as people of the Urals, and so on. I think what we'll see, the further...
I sure hope so, by the way. I sure hope that there's going to be friction. I sure hope that there's going to be unrest at home. That people are just going to start the unrest at home now that Russia is tied in the war.
Putin's forces go, and the more he attempts to wipe out the Ukrainian language and Ukrainian culture, we'll see the emergence of a Russian-speaking but very much Ukrainian nationalist community, and he'll discover that he has a different kind of problem than he had, rather than having solved all the problems as he believes he can.
Right, and speaking of...
Interesting that he says that rather than solving all the problems, as if they were actual problems. I know that the person probably did not mean to put it like that, but it sounds like he did. And that's not good.
Problems. I'm also looking at the possibility of whether or not Russia can stay competitive if the whole society is kind of limited to just using one language. You mentioned the universities require, testing in Russian. Doesn't that kind of limit how many students can study in Russia, and vice versa limits the ability of Russian students to study abroad as well?
Well, a bigger threat to Russian economic development with regard to language is learning foreign languages. In the past decade, and especially in the past 3.5 years since the start of Putin's expanded invasion of Ukraine, Russians have been studying foreign languages far less often. English is far less popular. There has been a shift in interest toward Chinese, but it's not. Chinese is a very difficult language to learn, and it's not clear how far that will go. It's that isolation that's going to hit things first.
I mean, it depends. It depends on how early you teach kids Chinese, so that's not a problem. Like that was a silly thing to say, that, oh no, Chinese is difficult, so moving towards learning Chinese will not work because it's a difficult language. What? This guy says some silly things as well, I'm sorry to say.
Is, however, putting a straitjacket on Russian society, on the society of the peoples of the Russian Federation, by not having the cultural and linguistic diversity.
It's not possible for a country to shift towards learning Chinese. Chinese is too difficult for that. What?
That learning these other languages will promote. Russian officials, including even Putin, say that the strength of Russia is in its diversity of peoples. But what Mr. Putin is doing is trying to destroy that diversity, even while he proclaims it as a principle.
Controlled diversity, just like controlled democracy. Am I right?
Of his actions.
Historically, how effective is the attempt to crack down on the different various languages? Like you mentioned, a lot of it could lead to some pushback, be it politically or even actual kind of curbing these languages themselves.
It worked for Poland, didn't it?
Well, I think, first off, over the last 7 years, the percentage of students in the Russian Federation studying in, not studying, but studying in their native languages has declined from around 5% to around 1%. That's a huge cutback. That's been, at the same time, more students in the non-Russian areas are taking non-Russian languages as special subjects, but you don't learn your native language well by studying it 1 hour a week, which is what Mr. Putin has reduced it to in most cases. So you're seeing a real reduction in the linguistic diversity of the Russian Federation, and I think a lot of people are very unhappy about that. And curiously, there are two groups that are unhappy. First are the non-Russians, who are watching their cultures be obliterated by a Russianization, a Russification program.
Don't tell me that the other group is Russian chauvinists that don't want those dirty minorities to be part of the glorious Russian folk. Please tell me that's the case. That would be interesting.
The Kremlin and Mr. Putin personally are launching. And second, it's infuriating a lot of Russian nationalists.
I knew it. Russian chauvinists are mad that the minority languages are being erased because they don't want those awful minorities to be treated as Russian. They don't want that.
Suddenly you have people who look like Kyrgyz or Uzbeks who become Russian speakers and then are proclaimed to be Russians
No way.
the Kremlin. From the point of view of a lot of Russian nationalists, that's not the world you want to see.
It's not acceptable, is it?
You want to see Russians who look like Russians, who speak Russian, who are members of the Orthodox Church.
The nationalist poison.
The idea that you'd have people who don't
That
look
is hilarious. That is hilarious.
like Russians, who aren't Orthodox Christians, but who are accepted by the state as if they are Russians, is not a very attractive prospect for a lot of Russian nationalists. So you're going to have pushback in both places, and we've seen it. A number of the Russian nationalist groups, the Russian community, the Northern Man, are pushing against this from the
Northern Man
Russian side, and you see Russian or non-Russian nationalists trying to come up with strategies so that their languages will continue. The internet is giving some possibilities in this direction. Informal Sunday schools are another way that these people are trying to save their languages. It's difficult. They're clearly fighting a rearguard action. But the view of most of the people in those categories with whom I've spoken believe that if they can keep their languages alive until Vladimir Putin leaves the scene, the man whoever comes after him will have a very different policy with regard to linguistic diversity.
That's not guaranteed at all. In fact, the next person might be worse. The next person might just reduce it to 0 hours of the other languages in school. Like there's no other. It's Russia. There's absolutely no guarantee that the next guy is going to be better. That's cope. It's like when Ukrainian people thought, hey, maybe if this Trump guy wins, something will change for the better. No, it's not guaranteed at all. Like Putin is not the ultimate orchestrator of all that's bad in Russia. Russia's problems are far more systemic than that. It's not like, oh, yeah, once Putin dies, everything's just gonna revert to better and better. Russia's gonna, in fact, become a super democracy when Putin's gone. Come on. It's a very naive view of Russia. There's a very naive understanding of Russia.
And they'll have a chance to recover some of what they've lost under Vladimir Putin.
Right. I'd like to go back a little bit to that paradox you mentioned, which is very interesting indeed. Not only the minorities that speak non-Russian have a problem with it, but even the nationalists themselves seeing these minorities speaking Russian.
I don't think it is a paradox at all. I predicted it. It is very predictable that would happen. Of course, nationalist lunatics that have a fixation on purity of their nation would not be happy with that. Well, how is that paradoxical? It's not paradoxical at all.
And kind of irks them the wrong way. Now, do you think the government or Vladimir Putin's Kremlin itself are aware of these kind of discontent? And do you think that there's any attempt at...
I think, there's no question.
Is he really asking if the Russian state is aware of how the Russian populace feels about certain things?
The man who heads the monitoring service in the Kremlin has written about this within the last few weeks, warning that there is real Vociferous, actually using the term that Russia could fall apart. It's the first time someone in the Kremlin has said that in that way.
Yes, please let Russia fall apart, please.
In 20 years. Putin is clearly being told by people close to him that this is not an easy or safe thing.
Yes, please. That would be so. Oh my gosh. Now you're speaking my language. You're speaking the language of love to me. Russia falling apart. Oh gosh.
I'm sure that people like Patrushev and the Security Council.
Actually, the United States is terrified of Russia falling apart. The United States is unironically terrified of the prospect of Russia falling apart because it thinks that all the nuclear weapons will fall into the hands of many different actors and that would be far more difficult to control. It would be nuclear chaos. Yes, fake Alec Hal Parker? What can I do you for? I'm back from something, from work. That is good. Work is good. Wake. I am happy that you have found fulfillment.
And others who are Russian nationalists in all but name are also articulating the fear of Russians, that Russians aren't going to be the Russians we know if what you're doing is bringing in people.
That sounds like Drew Pavlo, unironically, by the way.
Who are Russian-speaking Asiatics. This is a kind of racism which I think Putin is sparking rather than helping to overcome. And I think that we make a huge mistake in not paying more attention to Russian reaction, ethnic Russian reactions to what Putin is doing in this area, and not just the non-Russians. The Russians are not happy with this. They don't want to see. They'd like to see the non-Russians go away. They certainly don't want to incorporate more non-Russians into their society unless they're similar to Russians. Ukrainians are viewed as somehow similar, but Uzbeks aren't.
Somehow.
And the idea that Mr. Putin will try to overcome the demographic problems of Russia by adding Russian-speaking Uzbeks into the mix isn't something that a lot of Russians are comfortable with.
All right, if there's already voices even within the Kremlin kind of raising these issues, do you think there's an eventuality where Putin walks it back, or do you think that these people would just...
No, I think he'll just double, triple, quadruple down, as he always does with everything.
Out the window.
No, I think what will happen is there will be warnings. Putin will listen to them, but I don't think this is a terribly high priority for him. One of the things we have to understand is that since 2022, Putin has paid very, very little attention to domestic affairs. He has paid almost exclusive attention to the foreign policy and to the war in Ukraine.
Of course.
So there are a lot of things going on.
His whole regime depends on that war. Of course, he's going to be paying attention primarily to that. Of course. His ass is on the line. His ass is not as much on the line when it comes to minority languages.
That he's not focusing on the way he did a decade ago. There's a lot of independent action by governors. There have been articles in several of the independent Russian media that are left that governors are going their own way. There's lots of tension between the somewhat ultra nationalists like Filimonov and Vologda to people who take a very different view especially in Siberia and the Siberian regions and republics. So I think what you're going to see is that the pressure for this is going to build. But Mr. Putin
I
is
sure hope so. But he is preoccupied.
already aging, and I think
Aging? He's already old. What do you mean aging? That is such a charitable way to put it. Yeah, he's getting old. No, he's already old. He does not have much time left.
that most people assume he isn't going to make a big change in domestic affairs until after the war with Ukraine is over, and no one is seriously proposing that the war with Ukraine is going to be over anytime soon.
Oh, that is depressing. Oh, God, that is depressing. Nobody is seriously proposing that the war is going to end anytime soon. That is a very sad statement to hear. Also, while we're at it, I'm preparing to go to Ukraine again. So if you could find it in your heart to consider donating or subscribing, especially since I need doctor's fees. Before I go, I need to pay doctor's fees.
So I think we have people who are conscious that this is a problem, that's a growing threat to the regime, but it's not something Putin is yet prepared to act on. And my guess is he thinks he can wait it out for his time, which in the nature of things is probably no more than 5 to 10 years.
Right, so like many domestic issues within Russia, this is yet another pressure cooker just waiting to blow. Thank you so much for your input and insight. Really appreciate it. And thanks for being with us on Eastern Express.
Merci.
Thank you.
I have high hopes for this. I have certain hopes for this, definitely.
And now we're moving on to the Eastern News Flash, a series of all the other stories from the East that you don't want to miss. The Kremlin's programs...
Okay, that's enough. That's enough. We have already... So that was interesting, wasn't it? That Russia, that is so active in protecting Russian speakers in Ukraine, is so eager to erase all the minorities in Russia proper. That is just such an interesting little factoid that we have just listened about. I feel like we have all learned something. Something unexpected. Something shocking. Russia pushes for Russification. I never would have expected that. That is, oh well. Oh well. Who could have seen that coming? Not me. Not ever. Not ever, ever. Here's a super interesting topic that I want to talk about because it's funny, silly, and also kind of embarrassing and stupid. And there's so many ways that I want to describe this. There are so many different ways in which I want to describe this. I don't even know where to begin. Let's just get into it right now. I don't even know where to begin. I'm gonna Google it. I'm gonna use a very interesting keywords. You're gonna be very confused, but once we get into the topic, it's all gonna become very clear. All right? It's gonna become ultra clear what I mean. So, Ukraine, Poland, training, 1410. Okay. I want you to guess what all of this means, because before I even get to... before we even click enter, guess what this means. Guess. I want you to guess. I want my chat to try to guess what this all means. Usually, I want you to use your imagination and try to guess from those keywords what is exactly being talked about. I wasn't at drone training, but you're close. You're close. You're very close. You give up? You give up? I guess you give up, so let's enter. Or you give up. I can tell you give up. Do you know what the year 1410 refers to? Where should we go? Ground news. National security. It's one of the most famous battles in Polish history. It was the battle in which Poland and Lithuania defeated the Teutonic Knights and were able to stop them from, well, conquering Poland. It was a very famous battle. It's one of the most venerated battles in Polish history. The Battle of Grunwald that happened in 1410. So that was a very, very funny little jab at Poland. That Poland is just living its past glory and training soldiers as if it was still 1410. That is funny. I like those little historical jabs. Training for a war without drones. Ukrainians slam Polish military courses. And the most... Oh God, we're gonna get into it. But this... I'm talking about this because it lays bare a very, very strange philosophy by Poland. It just... By the end of it, maybe you'll be as baffled as me. Maybe you'll be just as... just shocked as me. Article summary. Ukrainian soldiers who train in Poland are openly questioning whether NATO-style courses match the realities of the front. Speaking to BBC Ukraine, troops describe Polish and Czech instructors teaching river crossings, armored thrusts, and map and compass drills as if drones did not exist. Foreign journalists are better trained to deal with drones than Polish soldiers, I guess? What a weird thing to say, huh? Since foreign journalists actually have to dodge drones. They have to take drones into consideration when they embed with the armed forces. But Polish soldiers don't train to deal with drones. They train as if drones didn't exist. Ergo, foreign journalists are better prepared against drones than professional Polish soldiers? Some food for thought, I guess. For Ukrainians who survived Krinki and other battles under constant UAV surveillance, slow amphibious APCs and vehicle-heavy assaults look like a bad idea. They argue modern combat demands camouflage, thermal cloaks, foot infiltration, and constant drone awareness. Warsaw insists it has received no formal complaints, but Ukrainian officers warn that training built on Afghanistan-era manuals will not keep their troops alive in 2025. I hope there will be the response from the Polish government quoted here, because it's hilarious. It's hilarious, and if it will not be quoted here, I'm gonna tell you what it was, and I'm gonna bash it. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna bash that response. Like sitting ducks, Ukraine warns Polish instructors don't get drone warfare. Quoting extensively from a BBC Ukraine report, the Polish national daily newspaper Rzeczpospolita published a detailed story on Ukrainian soldiers dissatisfied with the quality of combat training they received from the Polish military. The central complaint reported by the BBC was that the training is not relevant to current battlefield conditions, which is the most important thing in training. That basically means that even though Poland is expanding its military, expanding its equipment, if Russia attacked Poland, then Poland would be in trouble, because they would not know how to react to drones and many other things. So at least at the beginning, Poland would just suffer from huge casualties and losses, because they would employ strategies as if drones did not exist, which would end in disaster. So I have no clue what kind of a plan Poland has for that scenario, that they will have outdated training and a bunch of Polish soldiers would just die, and a bunch of Polish armored vehicles would just be destroyed. A central complaint from Battlefield. Lessons being learned in frontline combat are also not integrated into the program. They're teaching according to textbooks from 1410, said one of the Ukrainian soldiers who was interviewed by the UK news service. I really like that dig. I don't know why, but I find that dig really, really funny. One of the funniest yet. Since 2022, the Ukrainian armed forces have been trained at combat education centers in several European nations. Poland is one of them. But many Ukrainian soldiers who completed the Polish training course complain they are being prepared for a war of the past. I mean, the history lesson is not bad, is it? They're taking a break from the war to learn some history. To be more specific, it is preparation for a war without drones, which is suicide, writes the BBC. This ignores the absolute number of one threat to the lives of soldiers on the front lines. Number one threat, said a former active duty and now research Polish military officer who spoke to National Security Journal. Like sitting ducks. One of the training episodes reported by the BBC recalled a Polish instructor describing a scenario in which 4 armored personnel carriers were about to cross a river by using a bridge. One of the Ukrainian soldiers pointed out that the bridge could be destroyed. The Polish instructor then proudly replied, "Our armored personnel carriers can float, meaning they are designed for amphibious operations and can operate in shallow waters." Sorry. The BBC describes an awkward silence then fell over the auditorium. More than half of those in the audience were Ukrainian Marines who had survived a battle in Krinky, an operation that took place in the Kherson Oblast in 2023. Every one of the Marines who participated in that emergence knew the properties and performance of these amphibious APCs. They know all too well that these vehicles can indeed operate on water. But they also realize that when operating on water, their 70 km/h speed on land drops to a snail pace of 10 km/h. To enemy drones, this makes these vehicles even easier to kill than the proverbial sitting duck, said a Ukrainian officer who spoke for the article. Close to 2 decades ago, I attended one of the largest land arms shows in Russia at the time. The Russian Expo arms shown in Nizhny Tagil. That location is also home to the famous Ural Vagon Zavod plant that produces most of the Russian military's main battle tanks. This was decades before drone warfare became a daily fact of life on the battlefield. But even then, these vehicles on water were so slow that it was hard to believe they would be survivable in combat. The phrase that Admiral Bull Halsey once used about how the US fighter aircraft parked at Hickam Field could be taken out by a one-eyed monkey with a hand grenade hanging from a 10-cent balloon came to mind. Training for non-existent conditions. And if Poland trains Ukrainian soldiers for those non-existent conditions, you can bet your ass that it is also training Polish soldiers for the same non-existent conditions. And that is a problem. That is a huge problem, I think, considering that Poland wants to expand its military significantly and invest into weapons and all of that stuff. It is a problem if they're going to use tactics for non-existing conditions and just lose all the equipment and all the soldiers in the process. This sample of dialogue between the instructor and the Marines, as the BBC describes, is only part of a larger picture that includes everything: NATO manuals and charters, elegant barracks, and experienced bugglers, but lacks a key element of modern warfare: drones. Instead, the training is being conducted according to NATO scenarios taken from campaigns in Iraq and Afghanistan, which are completely different things. They are not applicable at all. Just everybody that took part in any military action in Ukraine, even the field medics also say that is completely incomparable, that is completely different. That any people that volunteer to help Ukrainian as foreign soldiers and had experience in Afghanistan, that was completely not applicable. That they were lost in this conflict, actually. Only in early October of this year, the BBC noted was the first drone training range Jomsborg opened in Poland. It was built with Norwegian funding. One of the Ukrainian officers, who was identified as Major 18, described the course his battalion completed in Poland in 2024. The training was reportedly led by instructors from Poland, the Czech Republic, and Ukraine. The Polish and Czech program complies with NATO standards, he explained in an interview with BBC. But he added that the conditions taught were ones Ukrainian soldiers wouldn't see in combat. Also, the Polish brass said that they cannot. The Polish government said that it cannot blame the Polish commanders because they cannot just teach whatever they want. They have to keep to the manual. But what is the point of learning things that will just get your soldiers killed? A Ukrainian soldier nicknamed Knuckles pointed out that in survival courses, he and his fellow soldiers were taught how to navigate terrain using paper maps. But in more than 3 to 5 years of combat, he explained, he never had to do this because all the maps they use are stored on the Ukrainian soldiers' phones or tablets. Trench assaults and urban operations are also taught, but in the context of wars from 20 years ago. They want to fly in tanks and Humvees right under the trench. We told them it doesn't work that way anymore. They don't do that anymore. You put on a kikimora, camouflage suit, or a thermal cloak to be as invisible as possible, and you go there on foot. It's just, I don't know, if those tactics get implemented, people will just get killed. And again, how does Poland plan to bridge that gap? What does Poland plan to do? The Polish Ministry of National Defense, in a response to the BBC News Ukraine, reported report stated it had not received any comments from the Ukrainian side. Wait, that's not exactly true. I've read a lot of Polish comments from the officials. We would like to inform you that we have not received any signals indicating that the training programs do not meet the needs of the Ukrainian side. So I've read an article in Polish, and in the Polish article, I've read comments from the officials on the Polish side, and they said, and I paraphrase, I'm not going to say that I quote, and I paraphrase that actually the Polish side cannot be fully prepared for drone warfare. Why? Because Polish soldiers have no direct experience in actual combat, and that you can only be up to date in drone warfare when you participate in direct actual combat. And that actually the Polish soldiers and the Polish commanders are hoping to learn from the Ukrainian soldiers in those exercises. And that is the most hilarious part to me. Maybe if Poland sent soldiers to do some direct combat in Ukraine, then maybe, no, well, not actually, he didn't say maybe. Then Poland would be up to date and Poland will know exactly how to deal with drone warfare. But I just have to ask at that point, okay, if Poland is expanding its military, if Poland wants to be ready for Russia, ready for any danger, number one military in Europe, spending all that money, all that GDP, training, readiness, and everything else, then what exactly is the plan? If they're learning tactics that are just gonna get most of the Polish soldiers killed in a real battlefield scenario, what exactly is the plan here? And correct me if I'm wrong, correct me if my conclusions are completely stupid. If the only way for the Polish military to be completely in line with how current warfare looks like, if the only way for the Polish military to be able to be up to date in drone warfare is to participate in real combat, then why isn't Poland pushing for sending troops to Ukraine? If that is the only way, as they say, for Poland to be up to date in these things. And what is the point in investing in military and everything else if the military will be completely useless because they will not be able to counter Russian tactics, Russian drone tactics? Like at this point, if the only way for Polish military to be not useless is to participate in real combat, then the Polish government should be sending Polish soldiers to Ukraine, logically speaking, to gain that experience. No? No. Poland instead says, we're not gonna ever send any troops to Ukraine, but in the same breath, we also want to expand military and be the number one military in Europe. But also, we admit that our military will never be up to date with current strategies and how to deal with current warfare conditions without gaining real life experience in combat. Make it make sense. Polish logic at its best. Like, you can understand how this is stupid, right? Like, am I silly for pointing this out? I'm not crazy, right? I'm not crazy for being this stupid, right? What do you think? Like this, if that's the case, then Poland should just be absolutely sending troops to Ukraine for its own good. Because if any conflict happened for Poland right now, Poland would, I guess, just be crushed like a grape. Because Polish soldiers would just not be able to efficiently respond to drone warfare. Because they're not trained to. So there you go. Of course, I find the statement that those strategies can only be learned by doing it in practice to be dubious at best. But if that's actually their argument, then send the troops and let them gain this experience. Poland does have some drones, but Poland's drone game is very bad, actually. Thank you for the $5, fake Alec Parker. It is very bad. Okay. I guess that's gonna be it for today's stream, because we have streamed for like 2.5 hours and I'm very tired and I have a lot of work to do outside of the stream. True. You should not trust the browser spell check. Militaries. Also, nobody clicked like on the stream, which makes me sad. Only 3 likes. And 9 viewers, 3 likes. Oh, okay, I'm out of here. I'm gonna raid you into somebody. You lied to me again, Lucy? Oh yeah, I forgot. Oh god. Oh, I've been called a liar. Wait, what? What the hell? What the what? What the hell? Have I not played this game since Ukraine? What? What the hell? I cannot finish stream yet, I promised, and I'm not a liar. I hope. I don't want to be a liar, so... Oh, gosh. I don't know why, but the game just uninstalled itself. Ugh. There we go. In the demo I ignored them, but in the full version of the game we're gonna try to get them. I still wanna activate all this. Oh. Makes sense. In the full version we're going to try to get all the gizmos, actually. Whoa. Oh. Oh. Okay, we gotta... It's okay, we're gonna get them all. I'm stubborn. I hope we manage to get out of here. I would have quit this game if... I would have honestly quit this game if the soundtrack wasn't fun. Like, the soundtrack carries this game hard, I have to say. I mean, the gameplay is fun, but I will say that the soundtrack really helped with this game. The soundtrack really helps this game, okay? If it had worse soundtrack, I probably would have gotten a lot more frustrated with this game earlier. Dostęp do centrum kierowania jest wciąż możliwe przez filtry atmosferyczne. Oh, okay. It feels like an easy trinket to get, actually. That was an easy one to get. Wow. Okay. That felt like a freebie, to be honest. Yeah, that one was a total freebie. Whoa. Huh. I'm trying to brute force this. Ah! I almost did it. Almost did it. Right. Almost got it. Ay, ay, ay. Oh my god. I messed up so bad. Yeah. Oof. I hate playing these types of games with keyboard. Oh, this is the place. Oh. Okay. There we go! I struggled with this one for so long when I first did it. Oh god, this was such a struggle before. And with that, now we just did it. Just like that. O nie, kapitanie, też tu utknąłeś? Jest okej, przyszedłem cię uratować. Pozwól mi wszystko wyjaśnić. Co? Nic z tego nie zrozumiałam. Och, no cóż, nie martw się. Chodź ze mną, wszystko będzie dobrze. Filip, naprawdę? Okej. Nie czuję tu bluesa. Je. Oh, okay. We did it. Alright. How do I save the game? How do I? Oh. There we go. So we have saved passenger. So I guess now I can stop the game. There you go. I kept my promise. I kept my promise. There you go. Okay, now I can go. I feel so good about myself that I'm not a liar. I feel good about being a liar. Liar, liar, pants on fire. Okay, I'll raid you into someone. That maybe will return the favor. Who am I kidding? Nobody does. Nobody raids me. You'll admit that I'm better at this when I play with the controller, huh? Okay, we'll raid the serfs. The serfs will never raid me, but whatever. I'll see you. Bye-bye. Good night. I swear, the serfs will never raid me. I know that for a fact.